Welcome on the Cosmic Atom. Prepare yourself, for what you're about to uncover will not be understood by everyone. This extends well beyond seeing angel numbers or utilizing meditation tools. This is something that just a few individuals on the earth have ever experienced. It is not only about being spiritually conscious. It's about being born with the ability to help people out of uncertainty. You may not know it yet, but you've been displaying symptoms of something unusual, a spiritual signal that distinguishes you as one of the few who have genuinely been chosen. It is not loud or dramatic. In fact, most individuals totally ignore it. But for those who sense it, this little indicator begins to change everything about how you think, feel, view yourself, and experience reality. Most people dismiss it at first. They believe it's simply stress, burnout, or a phase. But it is not confusion. It is the activation process. Your soul is starting to recall its actual purpose. And this is why it's so unusual. This sign does not display for everyone. Only those with spiritual power can carry the energy of communal transformation. If this has happened to you, you are aware that it is not a coincidence. It is also not transient. It's a tipping moment. Let's look at the 8 layers that make up this unique yet powerful experience. Because if you're experiencing them, you're not just waking up, you're being selected. The awakening starts in stillness. There is no lightning strike. It seeps in during regular activities like commuting to work, looking through your phone, and doing clothes. Then immediately, a concept comes to mind. This does not feel like my life anymore. Your profession, relationships, objectives, and identity. Everything starts to seem borrowed, as if you're living a life you never really owned. You begin to question things you have never asked before. Why should I worry about this? Who told me this mattered? When did I cease feeling alive? At first, you may attempt to shake it off by changing your routine, traveling, or distracting yourself. But the sensation intensifies. It develops into a severe conflict between your inner self and your external world. This is the beginning of a chosen one's journey, the dissolution of a fake identity. Not everyone experiences this. Most individuals can sleep throughout their lives, but for the selected, there is no going back. You will feel conflicted. A part of you seeks comfort, yet it no longer fits. Even if you attempt to return, life will not let you. Because this is not simply a change. It's different from who you believed you were. And once you've experienced it, you can't feel it again after the first internal detachment. A second metamorphosis occurs, which is stronger and more difficult to ignore. Your connections begin to alter, and individuals you formerly considered close to become distant. Conversations lack depth. The connection changes. You may sit across from someone you've known for years and feel as if you're no longer speaking the same language. This is not about supremacy. It's about vibration. Your energy is shifting, and not everyone around you is in sync. This imbalance generates stress. You'll notice strange interactions, friends distancing, and loved ones misunderstanding you. Spaces that seemed warm before now feel weighty. It is painful. It is lonely. Many individuals quit their awakening at this point in order to feel connected again. But those who are genuinely selected persevere because their soul will not allow them to fake it any longer. This phase is not about rejection. It is about realignment. The cosmos is restructuring your relationships to align with the greater energy you are entering into. It aches, yes, but it creates room for connections that represent who you are becoming rather than who you were. Soon, the world becomes overwhelming, too noisy, chaotic, and intense. Places you already liked, busy locations, social gatherings, and high-energy environments start to seem exhausting. This is not social anxiety. It's heightened sensitivity. Your system is getting more sensitive to higher frequencies, and can no longer withstand what it used to accept during unconscious sleep. You start to experience everyone else's emotions, intentions, and energies more intensely. You may want more isolation and serene nature, not out of fear, but out of need. You may even develop sensitivities to foods, noises, and technology. It's not a weakness. It is purification. Your energy field is being purified in preparation for a higher purpose. Chosen ones don't just watch the world. They sense it. And this might be overpowering in a culture that promotes numbing. This stage teaches you about limits. You learn how to be judicious with your energies. You realize that preserving your space does not imply isolation, but rather preparedness. You're being trained to detect what others disregard. And this sensitivity is not a defect. It is your internal guide system. As the enlightenment develops, something unexpected occurs. Your urge to prove yourself starts to diminish. You could still have objectives. You could still succeed. However, the desire to compete or exceed begins to lose its hold. You may believe that you are losing ambition, but in reality, you are swapping competitiveness for significance. You're no longer interested in pursuing empty goals. Your ego no longer needs adulation. Instead, you feel compelled to create, to serve, to communicate without seeking external permission. This is when the selected genuinely begin to stand out, while others seek popularity. Others desire control, but you seek meaning. You crave harmony. You begin to understand that your worth was never in your position, following, or wealth. Your soul does not want to win. It wants to awaken. And once that inner desire takes over, you stop attempting to fit into systems that no longer make sense. You start to develop things that others cannot yet conceive. You'll begin to see adjustments in unexpected ways. You'll check the clock and realize an hour has passed in what seemed like 5 minutes, or you'll feel like hours have passed. But it's only been a few seconds. This isn't a distraction. It is a transformation in awareness. You're no longer limited to linear time. Most individuals live according to the clock, with deadlines, rituals, and expectations. But when you begin to spiritually awaken, your perception of time shifts. Why? Because you're starting to live completely in the now. The past loses its hold on you, and the future no longer draws you in. You're grounded in present, which is where your power resides. You begin to feel as if everything is happening at once. Intuition starts to seem more reliable than well-set-out plans. You learn that life's timing is not something you can control. It's about resonance and alignment. You may struggle to maintain rigorous habits or feel alienated from long-term goals that formerly drove you. But this is not laziness. Your internal compass is moving from the limits of time to the rhythm of flow. You learn to rely on small inner clues rather than calendar dates. Synchronicities start to arise. People have chances and messages are coming. Not when you had planned, but when it was really necessary. And when you yield to this flow, you will stop pursuing time and begin to move with it. One of the most startling features of this route is an increasing desire to be alone, but not because of unhappiness or loneliness. You are not lonely. You just feel more balanced and alone. You continue to care profoundly about people. However, there's an inner awareness that quiet is required to hear anything precious. This often occurs after the period of heightened sensitivity. Being around too much energy, too many people, begins to obscure your own, and even lighthearted exchanges may seem energetically taxing. It is not personal. It's an energy alignment. You may begin to withdraw from social situations, silence your phone, spend hours in silence, and feel perfectly at ease with it. That is because your spirit is in the process of integrating. Solitude becomes a holy sanctuary of readjustment. It is where insights arrive. It's where your nervous system relaxes. While most people dread being alone, the chosen one begins to realize that isolation is not empty, but rather a refuge. And the longer time you spend in that peaceful zone, the greater your energy will be when you emerge. Stillness does not make you weaker. It improves your signal. It becomes the location where you rediscover your clarity and your genuine purpose starts to emerge. Something starts to stir within of you. It does not come with words, yet it is unmistakable. You start to believe that your existence has a purpose, that you aren't simply here to survive or go through the motions, but to do something special. The tricky aspect is that you can't properly express it yet. You don't see the whole way. You may see glimpses in dreams or have brief flashes of awareness, but the specifics remain fuzzy. The only thing you know for certain is this: what you're doing now no longer seems adequate. This is the start of a significant identity transition. You may lose interest in tasks or occupations that were formerly considered safe. You lose interest in the things that formerly defined you. You have a developing need for something more significant, even if it has not yet shown itself. And the more you fight, the louder your inner voice becomes. This is not your imagination. Your soul is beginning to soar. Your call may not be public or loud. It might be peaceful, spiritual, and very intimate. But make no mistake, it's genuine. If you are experiencing this right now, you have achieved a degree of enlightenment that most people never achieve. A zone where your soul may begin to see its path without being clouded by ego. This is the ultimate and most transformational layer, the return to truth. And when it clicks, everything changes. You lose your capacity to feign. You cannot fake happiness. You cannot indulge in meaningless small conversation. You cannot shrink merely to be accepted. You do not get harsh. You become truthful, and that genuineness shines through in a manner that others can experience. Some people might feel uncomfortable with you. Others would be attracted to you like a magnet. But most of all, you will feel emancipated. This is the heart of the chosen ones rising and living in harmony with the truth. You cease shaping yourself to fit expectations. You quit performing. You quit dimming your light to make others feel safer. And you no longer place your value on this. Rose, achievements, or external validation. You become grounded in clarity, not ego. This clarity simplifies everything. Decisions become apparent. Boundaries become natural. You no longer have to apologize for being. Because once you realize who you are, you will no longer behave like someone else. And that's when your enlightenment is irrevocable. Not because you figured everything out, but because you gave up pretending. In a world preoccupied with performance and appearance, your sincerity sets you apart. If you've been on any portion of this trip, you should know this. You're not broken. You are not lost. And you are not imagining things. What you're going through is genuine. It is not a stress-related side effect or a transitory phase. It represents the activation of a deeper timeline, one in which you live for recollection, not survival. You're here to make a difference, not by giving up your identity, but by being your true self. You're here to become completely awakened, grounded, and powerful so that others might experience truth in human form. That is why the previous life no longer suits. That's why the noise seems louder. This is why your spirit is pushing you within. You are not merely experiencing a spiritual awakening. You are being prepared to guide, serve, and lead. If these words spoke to you, leave a comment. I can sense an awakening in my spirit. Let us commemorate it collectively. For chosen ones were never intended to travel this journey alone. And before you go, don't miss the following video, because now that you've recalled who you are, the next question is how to safeguard this truth in a world that is still sleeping. Dear viewers, Your support through Super Chat and membership is the only source of income that keeps this channel running. If you want me to continue uploading valuable content without delays and to stay motivated in providing you with the best wisdom, I need your help. Every contribution, big or small, makes a huge difference. Feel free to donate and support Pure Wisdom so we can keep growing together. Your generosity keeps this journey alive.
If you're enjoying the content on Pure Wisdom and find value in the messages we share, I encourage you to subscribe. Based on the latest analytics, 93.9% of viewers are watching without subscribing. By subscribing, you not only stay updated with new content, but also support the channel's growth, allowing us to continue spreading wisdom for the chosen ones. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an important message. Let's build this community together.